ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am your magnificent General Gravey, and today we are going to talk about possibly one of the steampunkiest adventures I've played thus far, 39 Days to Mars. Now, 39 Days to Mars is a steampunk puzzle adventure game. Depending on whether or not you play single player or co-op, you're gonna play as Sir Albert, either way, with either the Right Honourable Clarence Baxter or Sir Albert and his cat. You are going to navigate aboard the HMS Fearful on its maiden voyage to Mars. Now, during the course of your voyage, you will run into several problems aboard the ship itself, which you have to use your wits about you to solve the puzzles to make sure your ship arrives safely. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the pros and cons of the game. We'll start off with the pros, because I always like to start off everything relatively simple and straightforward and, you know, on a good note. The dialogue is very funny, very kind of off the cuff. It's rather entertaining, honestly, all things considered. The game is very artsy. The music is very calming. I didn't feel a sense of urgency or kind of frustration. I felt like I really should have a scone and a hot cup of tea. Like, it was just very, like I said, calming. And it's also a really good co-op game in itself, which we'll get to a little bit later on in the video. The downside, it's a little too cartoony, and it lacks a bit of substance. I felt that a lot of the puzzles itself in the game, it felt more like a chore. I could see the direction they were going, where they were trying to really give some longevity to the game itself, but with the in-between puzzles of making the tea and making the scones and solving problems that occurred on the ship, it didn't feel like I was making a voyage to Mars. It felt like it was, how many chores can I complete before the time itself runs out. The game itself is short. Most of the people who played the game beat it roughly within 40 minutes. For recording purposes and for co-op purposes, it took me and my husband on both playthroughs roughly about an hour and a half to play through, and it just felt short. I felt like this game could have been so much more, but it just felt very condensed, which I really was not happy with. Then, as we played on both sides of the spectrum, we did use a gamepad, both an Xbox One controller and the Steam controller itself, and the controls were really nice. I personally, with my Xbox controller, I really didn't have any issues. The Steam controller, with the feedback from my husband, it wasn't that bad overall. And needless to say, the game was, it's fun, but it feels like it could be so much more. I feel like it really kind of sold itself short. I really feel like it could be more than what it is. I feel like it could be more open world, or it could really be more explorative. It almost feels like they left room for DLCs, and if that's the case, I'm really not okay with that, because of the kind of sophisticated approach that it took with the game itself. I would say for a PC version of it, it's okay. If you want something that's kind of cutesy and artistic and something that you could play with your boyfriend and or girlfriend, it's a really fun game. Single player, it was kind of cumbersome, but overall it was it was kind of fun. It was kind of neat. And I would recommend it, but I would highly suggest waiting until the Steam sale. I wouldn't buy it at full price at $15. I feel like the game is just way too short for that price point. Yeah, so other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will catch you on the flip side. Take care.